Hello, boys and girls. Our class today is about shepherds and sheep and people and pets. How many of you have a pet? Does anybody have a kitty cat pet? He's sound asleep, right? Well, if you have a pet, what do you have to do? Do you have to take care of it? And how do you show your pet that you love it? Do you call it by its name? Do you feed it when it's hungry? If it's a dog, do you make sure it gets a chance to go outside? Go to the bathroom? Do you feed it or does mom and daddy feed it? And when you call it by name, does your pet come to you? Probably. Well, this Sunday, when we go to church this weekend, at least in the Catholic Church, and in some other churches also, the minister is going to read the gospel story of the Good Shepherd. If you look behind me on the wall back here, this is a picture of a shepherd that somebody made many years ago. And he's carrying a sheep around his neck and over his shoulders. Doesn't show up too well because of the glare from the plastic. And over here is his long staff, his walking stick. I have some little sheep too. Here's one sheep, a little black sheep. Here's another sheep, a little white sheep. You know, we've got that poem, Bye Bye Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. So we have sheep in stories, we have sheep in poems and riddles, but of course we have real sheep. And when Jesus was living, there were sheep and shepherds and shepherdesses everywhere. And those shepherds and shepherdesses took care of their sheep the same way that you take care of a pet, if you have a pet. They gave them names, and the sheep recognized their name. And when the shepherd or shepherdess would call them, they would come. They would probably come running. The shepherd or the shepherdess had to make sure that the sheep had water and food, that they were protected from danger. They were real leaders. When they would take their sheep out in the morning, they would go at the front of the line and the sheep would follow. And they would lead them to where they could get a good drink, where they could get grass to eat. They would protect them. A lot of times you see a shepherd with a shepherd's crook like this. That was so that if a wolf came along, the shepherd could grab the wolf's leg with this crook here. He'd catch it there and then he'd yank it and save the sheep. So we always see this crook, shepherd's crook or walking stick. In our church, bishops have a shepherd's crook. They have a special name for it. They call it a crozier, but it's just a plain old walking stick, like the shepherds used to protect their sheep. You know, there were good sheep, good shepherds and bad shepherds. Most of them, I bet, were good, just like most pet owners are good. But we know sometimes there are pet owners who are not good to their pets. Sometimes there were shepherds who were not good to their sheep. But shepherds were really leaders. They led their flock out to wherever they were going. And you know, Your parents are shepherds. They take care of you. They give you a name. They do the things that they have to do to make you happy, to keep you well and safe. Your teachers, your ministers, your priests. In our church, the head priest is the Pope. We call him the Great Shepherd. And we use the word in a lot of churches, pastor. Pastor comes from the old Latin word for shepherd. A pastor, un pastor, was the one who took care of the sheep. He was the shepherd, the leader. Right now, we have some shepherds too. Oh, they don't have sheep that they're taking care of. They're taking care of people. Doctors, nurses, firemen, firewomen, EMTs. They lead us. They help us. They tell us what to do to stay safe from this COVID-19 virus. Who takes care of you at home like a shepherd? What are some of the things they do to protect you and show that they love you? Well, I hope that this weekend, when you hear the story of the Good Shepherd, here's a picture that I love of the Good Shepherd. Here we see Jesus with the sheep around his neck, carrying the sheep home. I have another book, Second Graders, I Walk with Jesus. Look at the shepherd. And there he is leading his flock. Here he is bringing him through a special place in the fence called the Shepherd's Gate. And it says, sometimes it's hard to be a good shepherd. We're not always perfect. Shepherds need to be helped and loved. Jesus invites us. He asks us to be kind to each other, to love each other. Each one of us needs to recognize and love the shepherds in our life. I love that picture too. And of course, the famous story of the little lost sheep. And there's Jesus, there's the shepherd going to get the lost sheep. So, first graders, if you haven't colored the pictures, from pages 160 over to page 167, you have these beautiful pictures in the story of Jesus the Good Shepherd. And those boys and girls in second grade whose parents bought this book for you, on the cover you have Jesus the Good Shepherd. A shepherd is someone who leads his flock or her flock, someone who helps us, who protects us. Jesus says that he is our good shepherd. But let us not forget, our parents are shepherds to us. Our teachers are shepherds to us. Our grandparents are shepherds to us. Anybody who helps to take care of us, to lead us, to do what is best for us and protect us is a good shepherd. And just as in the story of the Good Shepherd that Jesus told, we too want to follow and obey and show love and respect. And that's our story of the Good Shepherd. Remember to love and care for each other.